Hello and welcome again. It's me, Mr. D, out here in the backyard homestead, and we are getting ready to put together a dispenser for oyster shell pieces for the chickens. This is pretty much the same thing that I use for the chicken grit. I had previously made these tubes. You can see that the PVC pipe here is screwed into a larger cap, and I had cut out a hole in the bottom to allow the pieces to go down the tube nice and long for holding the oyster shells in this case. And I have some drainage holes for water to run through in the bottom of the oversized cap. Now this is a 2-inch, you can see here, a 2-inch pipe, and I got a 5-foot section. I know that's not super cheap compared to buying 10-foot, but I didn't need a whole lot, so I just got the 5-foot piece and cut it down. And I've got a cap that I'll just loosely dry fit over it to keep rain out, and then we can bring it off and refill as necessary. I have a couple of wide-headed screws that actually came from an old kit furniture that we got rid of, and I saved the hardware because you never know. I imagine you could use a small screw with a washer to create the same effect. You'll see why I want it to be a wide head as we go through the project. Basically just need my drill and either a dead blow hammer like the red one there, or even a mallet would work. A couple of zip ties and a wooden stake sharpened to go into the ground out in the run. What I'll do now is I'm going to zip tie the dispenser onto the stake. I'll pause that while I do it, and then I'll show you what that looks like as I finish it. So I'll be right back. Alright, so now I have got the zip ties on, and I went and grabbed a needle nose plier so that I could pull those through as tight as I could just by hand. And then I snipped the tails in close just so they weren't hanging there, being a temptation for the chickens to peck at. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead on the back, and I'm going to put the screws in such a way that when they go in, the zip tie will be under the top of the screw, so that the screw helps to keep it from sagging too much and letting the dispenser drop down closer to the ground. So I'll go ahead and do that and then show you what that looks like after I've finished. We'll be right back. Alright, so here we have the screws attached to help clamp the zip ties in place, and that will help hold that up and keep it from sagging on the stake. The next thing that I'll need to do is take this and go ahead and put it in where I want it. I'm going to be putting it in their side run because oyster shells, it's not going to matter if they happen to get wet with some rain. Like I said, I have drain holes and they'll dry out. They're not going to be hurt by getting wet. So I'll go ahead and get that put into the run for you, and I'll be back as soon as that is done. All right, here is the oyster dispenser without any of the oyster shells in it, without the cap on. I've just got it put into the ground. The chickens are very curious and like, what's supposed to be in here? So I'll get that filled and capped and let you see the finished product. Be right back. So here we are. The oyster shells have been poured into the tube and come down into the cup Chickens are going at it already. Of course, leaving some on the ground, if you can see the little white bits, because we don't just eat it the first time. We got to peck around and find the piece we want. But that is the oyster shell dispenser, and maybe you remember seeing another one in the main run for the chicken grit. And that is how we do it. Thanks for stopping by and checking us out here at the Backyard Farm Homestead and checking out the buffs as we get them some oyster shells. We'll see you again real soon. Bye for now.